Jack. All right. You got this stuff?
Yeah. All cleaned in oil.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's get it on.
Who are these guys?
It's my theme music. Every good hero should have some.
Hot damn, it's time to get down to the jam. It's time to get down, it's time to get down, it's time to get down to the jam. I said it's time to get down to the knowledge, gonna get on down with the know. On the morning coffee show, on morning coffee with Keith, here on Pop Culture Minefield.
Excuse me, can I get a cup of coffee? Black?
Can't you see we talking?
White?
Good Thursday morning, everyone. Wow.
Good morning.
And we're here for a very, very special episode where all of you get an opportunity to ask us any questions. So it's basically your time to get up here and ask us questions and yeah. So first of all, let me first in advance apologize to Ben because he's never done one of these yet. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Andy Morrow, hello. Daryl Brewer, hello. Gambit, 1987, hello. Yeah. And didn't I see Dust Wolfen in here earlier?
Yes. Yeah, you saw Dust Wolfen.
James Caserta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And just special shout out, Gambit was the first person commenting this morning.
Yes. You know what? He 99% of the time is.
Here before us.
It's a very dedicated member of our audience, and we are infinitely grateful for that.
You know what?
Who's this guy? Who's this Ben Reader guy? Should I block him?
I don't know. He looks kind of sketchy to me. Can I at least say this? Hey, Gambit, are you still in there, man? Because if you are, then I'm gonna let you have the first question.
He's still there. He just posted saying hi to Andy.
Wait. First of all, I have
to
take I cannot English today. Ben can attest to that.
Ben cannot English today.
I need to clarify something. The questions are for Keith and for Ben, not for me. I am here just to moderate and to facilitate things. Do not ask me anything. I won't answer nothing.
I'll answer nothing.
I know nothing. At least he's not going with the whole I was just following orders. So
right. No, Martin is the one who gives orders.
That's right.
No.
I work for Martin.
Right.
One of my favorite lines in Zack Snyder's Justice League where he introduces Alfred to everybody. Alfred, I work for him.
Yeah, this is Alfred. I work for him.
Hello, Das Wolfen. Woo.
Good morning. Anima's here.
Hey, Anima. Hey, look, Anima, if you've got any questions, come on. I know we've known each other a while, but there's still got to be one or two things you've always wanted to know about Ben.
Yes.
This is your
size.
This is your opportunity to put us in the hot seat.
Real popcorn geek. The geek is here.
Oh my God. This is the best show ever.
Hey,
surprise.
I am so surprised, man. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay. I had to stay home from work today because the plumber came to fix the sink. So
yeah, I've been there. Well, we are honored to have you, big man.
Not a problem. I got to leave in about an hour, but
Well, then we will try to at least get to a lot of the good stuff before you leave.
And I am loving that Fallout background.
yeah, it's for my show on Friday nights at 8 here on Pop Culture Minefield.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't think we have too many questions.
Well, give folks time. They're still just saying hi.
They are still. Well, look. See how what we were talking about before the show started.
So I think we got the first question from Carol.
No, it is a plumber actually fixing the sink because it had a leak.
It had a leak. Okay.
Hey, look, I gotta say, I've had to do that myself, so I feel your pain there, buddy.
Well, it didn't cost me; it's the landlord. So,
hey, even better, stick it to the man.
So, Martin, what was your question before we started? Because we'll get started on that one.
Okay. Well, it wasn't a question.
More of a comment, statement.
Yeah, well, I was
a way of life
with Ben about the
the
origins of our global societal problem is that we are trying to live in a way human were evolved to. That is this big cities
Ariel.
and shit that we should go back to small groups of people, and then you again bathe us with your poetry, and you were talking about how you enjoy your childhood, and nobody has asked that, but I think that everybody would enjoy if you continue.
It was just a comment. My childhood was first of all way too brief, and second of all, wow, the Brewers just on you, John. What did he do to you?
You're not getting that.
Okay.
Although Ariel has a question.
Yeah,
that's a good.
There we go.
Her question is, okay. Question: why do hot dogs come in packs of 10, while hot dog buns come in packs of 8?
Because it's a conspiracy between the hot dog companies and the bun companies, so you have to buy 4 packs of hot dogs and 5 packs of buns to make it equal.
So, short answer: capitalism.
That is a much cleaner, non-dirtier answer than the one I was going to give. So we'll go with that one.
I have a question.
Okay.
Is James Gunn going to survive the sale of Warner Brothers?
That's a good question.
Well, is he going to survive at Warner Brothers, or because for creatives, survival can take a lot of different forms.
Whoa. Wait. Hold on. Let me at least couch my answer this way. There is no one right now that is capable of doing what Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige have done, because no studio runs the way that Disney and Bob Iger have been running these last few years. I mean, that is really the big thing. Everybody's been chasing a formula and a way of doing things that is not inherently something that all studios do anyway. Okay. It's like being born with a certain sort of genetic dispositions and expecting everyone else to be able to do exactly that, even though you're the only one that has that condition. And I know it's easy to kind of try to argue that, but realistically, if you really look at the circumstances that Kevin Feige had in order to, first of all, become the guy, you got to remember, he was hired to be the head of Marvel Studios. not the head of Marvel Entertainment. He took it, is what he did. He operated behind the scenes and he took it. And personally, that, in my opinion, is part of the reason why Marvel is having so many problems right now. He is operating way above where his abilities are. And he can't handle doing, he can't handle, in my opinion, doing all of the things connected to run Marvel Entertainment. Running Marvel Studios was simple compared to running all of Marvel Entertainment. And I'm not saying that he's a dumb guy or anything. He's way smarter than I'll ever be. I mean, he got paid for basically just being a nerd of a certain type in the right place, right time, and got a chance to hang out with some of his childhood heroes and a bunch of creatives and actors who basically just went on an incredible run for 10 years. And the only thing that stopped them was them. Marvel's run at the box office has only been interrupted because they messed it up. You know, I mean, it is kind of poetic if you really think about it. Nobody else can come along to stop them except them. You know.
Yeah.
And then here they are.
and yeah, here they are, and they're in the midst of. Look, I'm not saying that we should all doubt them for Doomsday, but it's looking seriously doubtful with the amount of money that they are spending that they're ever going to be able to pay off everything they need to, given how many deals they're having to make in order to get this made. And as far as James Gunn goes, I think depending on who buys it will determine whether or not he stays.
Mm-hmm.
I think if Paramount buys it, I think he will stay. But the question then becomes, how long? Now, if Amazon buys it,
oh, he's gone.
I think he might be gone. If Netflix buys it, I think he's gone. If
Skydance.
Well, that's Paramount now.
Yeah. Well, oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot.
If
they're buying
Universal,
up so much stuff.
If Universal buys it, there's a good chance he might stay. Good chance. Sony, I don't think Sony will ever pull the trigger on doing something like that. But if Sony did, I think they would make it worth his while to stay. If Sony did, let's just put this out there. If Sony did, I think, first of all, every Marvel fan's going to have a heart attack. And every DC fan will be in shock.
Well, if Sony did, that means they could do the Spider-Man Batman crossover.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be in the way that you think. I don't think it's gonna be a Spider-Man Batman crossover in the way that one would intone it to be. I think what would happen, because Sony likes to play around with language and try to do all these little verbal gymnastics in getting people to agree with it to things. I can see them immediately greenlighting a Batman Spider-Man movie, but it would be Batman Beyond and Spider-Man 2099.
Which I would be fine with.
I would be more than fine with that. I think it's the only way to properly do it. Because I don't think Disney or Marvel really have any plans of doing anything with Miguel O'Hara. I think he's way, 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 way down on their list of characters and IP to deal with. And that's part of the problem for both Marvel and DC, or in this case, Disney and Warner Brothers. Everybody keeps just basically doing stuff with like 5% of the total IP they have for both companies, and they only deal with certain characters.
Yeah, only things that are super high visibility that that they can, which is what surprises me on how Guardians of the Galaxy even got made.
Well, they were looking for a way of trying to do something. Well, okay, this is all predicated really on the ability to be able to make as much money from something without having any oh man, what is the word I'm searching for? What these studios really it's all corporate entertainment now. What they are trying to do is find a way of using IP but without any real the lovely Penny. Hello, good morning to you. They want to find a way of being able to create using all the various IP without having to give any real credit and having to pay anything to the people that actually created said character. Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips. Are you guys optimistic on Tron 4?
Tron's dead.
I will say this.
The rest.
Tron was in trouble when Bob Iger came back. Tron was in trouble when they made changes to the original idea that they had for Tron 3. I don't know if you guys have heard that, but they put out what Tron 3 was actually going to be. And the fact that Jared Leto was actually going to be a part of the cast of that movie. And they somehow figured out a way, Disney somehow figured out a way of pissing off the director and the writers. They kept one of the producers, and they went ahead and found a way of casting a brand new director. And I do really mean casting in the way that Marvel Studios likes to cast the people that are creatives. Who, again, in my opinion, should be roasted for what he said about Tron Legacy. Because Krasinski was a better director. Look, let me just put it, I've said this before, so I'm not saying anything new. I know there are people out there that like Tron Ares. For my money, the director of Tron Ares did one of the worst jobs I've ever seen. He somehow found a way of making almost every single actor in that film look pathetic. I just, that is a feat. And when you look at what Krasinski was able to do since he left, since he was done with Tron Legacy, even though he tried to get his own version of Tron 3 made, look at all of the stuff that he was able to do. Top Gun Maverick and F1.
Oblivion.
Was Oblivion after Tron Legacy?
Yes.
Okay, well then Oblivion. So there's your three big movies. Look at what he was able to do. And you pissed him off. I mean, you know, again, Bob Iger was the one that basically stabbed the director, cast, and crew of John Carter in the back.
Oh,
just
yeah.
So he could get.
We took the money for the budget for advertising and spent it on Star Wars.
Yeah, that's it. that lets you know right there who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
And again, Bob Iger. A lot of people are big Bob Iger fans. I've seen the truth about Bob Iger. I will say this. It was the other Bob that greenlit Deadpool and Wolverine. Because Iger wasn't going to do it. And by now, if you haven't heard, newsflash, Kevin Feige had been saying no to Ryan Reynolds for years. So that lets you know who you're dealing with.
Yep. Who knew that?
And again,
Snake in Woody's boot was actually in the CEO chair of Disney.
and again, think of it this way.
There's a snake in
I
the-
was said from the moment that Disney bought Fox, I was one of the few people that was sitting there saying, you got Buffy. And it took the young lady who directed probably one of the worst Marvel films, The Eternals, to come back and ask Disney, hey, would you mind if we do a Buffy reboot? For them to get Buffy back going. You own a lot of stuff, yet you're not investing any time in it. And that's what it really seems like a lot of studios are doing. They're not taking the time to look at what they actually own. Okay. So, anybody else? Any other questions?
Yes.
Oh, what do you think of my answer? Did I answer your questions? Anybody?
Wait. Well, you were answering Wade's question about Tron, so he's the one who had to stay in the channel if he's satisfied.
I was trying to get both Real Wade and John answered. So,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Now, John,
yes.
I am a tool here. I
already saw the question. Don't ask it.
I am a
No,
moderator.
don't ask it. Don't ask it.
I have to. We made a promise to our audience, and we have to. I am not getting any pleasure in asking it. Well, maybe
it's
a little.
not canon.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It's only canon in the fact they used it to make fun of it. That's why it died so quickly.
Well, the creature is canon.
The creature's canon.
The
That
fact-
movie's not.
Wait, the fact that it's not Godzilla, it is canon too, because in Godzilla 2000, I think they made reference to it. They say they initiate the movie saying like the Americans mistook that Silla for Godzilla. So the creature is canon.
That's.
Are the events of the movie canon? Though
I have to go back and watch that in the original Japanese to make sure that is an American mistranslation there.
Well, I only have them in Japanese, except for the two that were re-edited and redubbed. And
Well,
they
I
say
have
that-
all of them. I have all of them in the original Japanese, so I'll go watch. I'll go back and watch.
Okay, well, another
And
question
we'll leave it at
here
that.
is again from Wade, and I think this is your field, Das.
Which Fallout? The whole series?
Yeah, the TV show.
Oh, the TV. Well, the whole Fallout series, the whole series of the whole series of games. The whole games, movies. I like in Fallout 3. I like the Brotherhood. Not such a big fan in Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Or the earlier Fallouts. I liked the Midwest from Fallout Tactics, Midwest Brotherhood. But I've got to break it down by game. It's hard for me to pick just overall because they're different. The factions operate different in each game.
Yeah, the Brotherhood changes from game to game and from area to area. So I gotta agree with you there.
Yeah, I mean, because when they started out, they were assholes,
Mm-hmm.
and they were just, they were a villain. But when Elder Lions took over for for the Eastern Fallout in 3, he changed the mission. Well, in Fallout 4, it's kind of like halfway between the two. And the Brotherhood Midwest is just, let's just kill the super mutants. We don't give a shit about anything else.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were just there to get rid of the faction of super mutants that left from the Master after the Master was dead. Who, if I had to pick to join? Oh, I'm joining the Institute. In Fallout 4, they are the only faction that has an actual plan for saving the Commonwealth.
Yeah, it's just their plan sucks.
Well, their plan sucks, but in a way, I mean, the methods they're forced to use sucked. But once you take over for the Institute, then those methods change because you're not going to do that anymore.
Right. Well, I would say because that's why I tend to go with the Minutemen, because you become the leader of the Minutemen and you're in charge now.
Yeah, except you end up destroying the Institute.
Yeah, well, I have no problem with that. But mostly, yeah. But yeah, because the Institute's whole thing is let's create everything in our image, screw everyone else, it seems like.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that culture changes when you take over.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of the when you start doing the Radiant quests after you're in charge of the Institute, things start changing. Because you do those missions differently than they would have. So yeah, you have to take that into consideration. We have to see what happens with Fallout 5, obviously.
Right. Yeah. Because see, for me, because the question becoming which one you would join changes again from game to game.
Yeah.
Because
Fallout 3, I'm all in on the Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm. I would support the Brotherhood in Fallout 3. Fallout 4, oh hell no, I will crash the Brotherhood every damn time if I can.
Once I save Dance.
Yeah, once you save Paladin Dance,
Yeah.
but now Fallout 3, I'm gonna go not Fallout 3, New Vegas, I'm gonna go with the NCR.
Oh no, New Vegas?
Mm-hmm.
My ending, my canon ending in my games is always I'm in charge. I take over. I take out House. I take out I befriend the Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
I befriend the Boomers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I befriend the Great Khans. Everybody else, I run everything.
Yeah. See, with now my canon ending is always I end up running New Vegas.
Yeah, I do the Yes Man ending is what I do.
Yes, because I get, now in terms of who is actually the best suited to handle New Vegas outside of myself, then it's the NCR.
Yeah.
But yeah. Real Wide Nation mods make Fallout 4 so fun. I would agree to a certain extent. After a certain extent,
when they do not break your game,
right? Yeah, after a certain extent, they become a bigger pain in the ass. But with any game, I will play it through straight. Just so I know how much more fun the mods make it.
Well, and there's a way in Fallout 4 to end the game without having all the factions against each other.
There's
like a tightrope you can walk.
Yeah, I think you have to side with the Brotherhood on that, not with the Brotherhood, with the Minutemen on that one, right?
Yes, but you can do it without destroying the
Destroying the railroad, because you gotta go up to a certain point with the quest and then stop.
yeah, and then you can finish the railroad, or not the railroad, but the Minutemen quests, and you've got all the factions that don't hate you anymore. Nobody hates you,
right?
and
Because
they
you
don't
just gone to a
you know.
certain point where you've done what the yep. You go to a certain point with the mission, so you don't piss off don't get the Brotherhood pissed off the railroad,
Yeah.
Because those two, man, it's like they will not be happy with anything less than the other's total destruction. But yeah, that's usually my canon ending, is walking that tightrope to make sure everybody's happy.
yeah. For Fallout 4, yeah. But my Fallout 4 loadout right now is just, it's ridiculous. I've got hundreds of mods. I've got all these these quest mods and stuff. I'm doing the Sim Settlements playthrough right now. Because I've had to go back and redo it a couple of times, because I've had to reinstall, and then I couldn't go back to my original save because I couldn't get the loadout the exact same, so it corrupted.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of limit some of my loadouts on that.
I'm in the mod it till it bleed camp. That's
right.
That's me.
So I mean, I will mod as much as I can. I do the same thing with Skyrim. I will mod it all day long. I've got hobbits and rangers, and
my Skyrim right now has about 1,900 mods.
Yeah. Damn. Okay, I feel I'm an amateur.
And it's 1,900 stable.
Right.
But
mad respect for that.
Yeah, well, a lot of it's like your appearance mods, and I'm running stuff that makes the trees look more realistic and the ground look more realistic, and it's you have to have a beefy video card to do it.
Right. Yeah, and my there's only so much money I'm willing to throw at my video card.
Apparently, I'm not willing to spend the couple of $1,000 for like the 5090, but my 4070 is still just fine. It can handle anything that comes out still now, and it handles my Skyrim and Fallout without breaking a sweat. So,
right. Pardon me.
Although the Skyrim will kick the fans on. Fallout won't. Skyrim will.
Right. Welcome to the Fallout show. See, I'm more like that with Sims, because I do like the occasional, casual game. And if they have released a full-size pack, I've got it. I've got pretty much every world out there. And my Sims, I turned it on, my computer's going, no, you bastard, making me work hard.
Yeah, I can talk Fallout all day.
Yeah, no, same.
I wouldn't have noticed.
See, I've been playing Fallout since Fallout 1.
I've been playing Fallout since Wasteland.
Okay. Yeah,
the game that inspired the guys behind Fallout 1 to make Fallout 1.
Yeah. I went back and got Wasteland again, because I remember prior to Wasteland, there was a game. I can't remember the name of it, but the thing that stood out about it to me was you could tell how powerful your followers were by the letter that their title started with. So you had your destroyers, which were your D class, your chums, which as basically all the way up to armsman, which was the best. And I just remember that from that, and you're usually on the road. So.
Oh well, we need to stop talking about gaming.
We have another question here.
Right.
Yes. That's the plan, Penny. But the thing is, we need questions. We need that you
this is a
throw
Q&A
questions at us so we can do our best to try and answer it.
Yeah. We are marking time for between questions. So in answer to that question, yes, we're going to talk about anything besides gaming. We just, looking for now Gambit, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Wow. Yeah, that was bad.
And not to bring up gaming again, but actually the Indiana Jones game is far superior to that movie.
Well, that is not a pretty high bar.
No, it's not a high bar. No, but I mean, it's for it's a pretty good game.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is one of those movies that I will have absolutely no problem bashing, because I think they did Harrison Ford and the characters so dirty with that movie.
Oh yeah. Made him a deadbeat dad, made him drunk. Yeah,
and and a washed out, it's like, this is freaking Indiana Jones. This is the guy who spied for the government during World War II, and the Cold War. And no. I know
the canon ending for that. He's sitting in a museum telling about his adventures with an eye patch. That's the canon ending for Indiana Jones.
Right. And to me, the E.T. video game from 1982 was better than Dial of Destiny. And that's considered the worst video game ever. Any Alien news? Wolverine Origins. I gotta agree.
Whoops.
No, we lost Keith.
Did we lose Keith? He'll come back.
Never lose Keith.
He's
always watching us.
There he is. Always watching.
I haven't heard anything beyond, it's been pretty quiet about, there hasn't been any big congressional stuff about the releases. The last thing I heard was they're still arguing whether that Atlas 31 is alien tech, or if it's just a rock. It's just a rock.
Right. Yeah.
It's an unusually shaped rock.
And it's doing some pretty weird stuff from what I hear.
Possible. Look, I don't care about the shape because people see every kind of things on clouds.
If it slows down,
then
we've got a problem.
That's a point.
Yeah.
If it slows down or changes, it's bearing.
Well,
okay.
Well, now it's possible that it could, any interstellar object that has ice involved in it and changing temperatures could actually change course just from outgassing.
Well, whoa. Before we go any further, let's explain for everyone out there that may not know what you guys are talking about. This is very inside baseball.
Sorry.
So Atlas 31 is
Go on.
It's an object entering
Go
the
ahead.
solar system, and everybody's crazy, getting crazy about it.
Mhm.
That's it.
Yeah,
Because
supposed to
it
pass
is
between Earth and Mars.
and it is one of the few things that appears to have come from outside of the solar system.
Yeah,
It
beyond our Oort
is
cloud.
beyond the Oort cloud, and it is exhibiting some unusual tail activity. And I'm not sure exactly what that is, what that unusual activity is. John, John, do you have more info on that?
Hail activity.
Yeah, basically, it's got outgassing that is appearing to be like thrusters, and that's what's got like folks like John Brandenburg and they're all saying, "Oh, it's an alien," and I'm like,
Eh. Yeah.
"Yeah,
I mean, it's outgassing. It can look like thruster activity, but that doesn't make it thruster activity.
no, it
That's
doesn't."
correlation versus causation.
Yeah,
And it's didn't we get we got some pictures of it from Mars. One of the landers, one of the rovers got some shots of it, I think, but nothing that says, "Ooh, look, there's not, they're not getting a picture of a little green man going, buzzing by and going, hi, take me to your leaders."
well,
Now,
if it left when there was life on Mars, because I firmly believe there was at one point life on Mars.
mm-hmm.
John Brandenburg's got that right.
Mm-hmm.
If there was an advanced, I don't know if there was, but say there was an advanced civilization on Mars, whenever that, if this is going into the, is it an alien thing? It could be an alien. Could it be an alien probe? Well, if it was, and the reason why it's going towards Mars is because that was where signals might have been coming from at that time. But that's a lot of ifs.
Right.
And far more than I'm comfortable to agree with.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and just did a quick look. Evidently, one of the things that's weird about Atlas 31 is that the Keck 2 telescope collected data that indicates that it's emitting nickel, but little, if any, iron in its composition.
Yeah, which is weird.
Which is unusual. Now, it's not impossible, but unusual as far as we know. And it's also larger than what we tend to see coming into our solar system. Massively larger.
Oh yeah.
So now, of course, I have to wonder too. Was the actual question? On that from Penny, is that on Aliens or the Alien franchise?
Yeah.
Okay, we have another question here. Have you ever seen the film Abominable?
No.
2006 sort of film that's Bigfoot meet Rear Window. Okay,
I've heard of it.
Hello, Sally Forth.
Yes.
Oh, it's 3i Atlas. I thought it was 31. That's my bad.
Yeah, no, same.
Oh no, she was asking about Alien. not Xenomorph.
Alien. Okay.
I think we've caught everybody up. Let's see. And then we got the Curse of Frankenstein Hammer Horror 4K yet. I don't have it yet. Not yet. This is a weird time of the year for me because it seems like a majority of my family has their birthdays in this half of the year. Once we hit fall, Keith is very busy. So this is just, that's just the way it is.
Sally, we're friends with Mark D'Antonio.
Yeah.
In fact, on KGR, did you remember? John, you say it, please.
KGRA.
Hey, this guy. There, our fearless leader Gary has a Monday evening show with the incredible Don Ecker, and Mark Antonio is one of the regulars. This
Don Ecker.
it is John Brandenburg.
Yeah.
The amazing Don Ecker.
Yep.
Those sons of bitches.
Wow. Wow, Sally. The thing
Yeah,
is,
I've only been cursory for it was soon as they got the arguments about is it alien or is it natural, I kind of dipped out.
yeah. Well, thing is, Sally, we don't have to agree on everything even with our friends.
No.
There are things that
Yeah.
they believe in, and there are things that we don't. That's
Right.
it. With at least with this thing, I'm a little, I'm completely skeptical. If I get proved wrong, if that shit opens a door and somebody comes out of there, okay, I will eat my crow. But the thing with the thrusters, I mean, that's not how thrusters work. And you don't use the thruster because you will be accelerating
Mhm.
at infinitum. You just need pushes. So
Yeah.
and
It's with it being a constant outgassing, that's why it's more outgassing. If it would have been pulses,
yeah,
Yeah.
we're talking.
and if it was a spaceship, why moving so slow then?
But
What is
yeah, I've got bigger fish to fry in my life than worrying about that right now.
Right.
I've been presented with a dilemma that I can't solve.
What can we help you with, John? Come on.
All right. In October in Denver,
Yes.
Rush
Okay.
coming back on tour
Mm-hmm.
for one last time
Yes.
for their 50th anniversary.
Yes.
Getting together. So it's, however, this morning just announced in September,
Mm-hmm.
Iron Maiden with Megadeth and Anthrax.
Oh my goodness.
okay? The
Yeah.
question is,
You can see my dilemma.
wait,
I
wait.
can only afford one of those.
I have a question more pressing than that.
Okay.
How many kidneys do you have?
2.
There you go. Make with that what you will.
So you can only currently afford. This sounds like a GoFundMe or a Patreon or something.
Kidney.
You know, help me go to the 2 coolest concerts.
Okay.
Now-
Okay. Look, John. Okay. This is probably going to be the last time that Rush is going to get together to do anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Rush.
I'm already planning on going to Megadeth when they do their world tour for their last album.
Dude,
See, the more information we get
Go
from
Rush.
you, the more look. They are Rock and Roll Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Chances are, you might have an opportunity to see them individually, but not as Rush, not on the stage. Have they
Mhm.
announced how they're going to handle the elephant in the room?
Yeah. How'd they replace Neil Peart? They have I forgot what her name is, but she's like an amazing drummer.
Oh yeah, the drummer. That was. Oh yeah. So actually, the real question is not which one to go to, but how do you also fit Iron Maiden in there?
Yeah.
Look, man. Iron Maiden is my favorite band in the whole world ever.
I have seen all of these bands before, so this isn't
but
I've never seen it. I've got to go see them. That was my
Right.
Sabaton, and I'm already going back to Sabaton in February when they come back through here on their new album. So Allie and I are, because Allie actually likes Sabaton, so we're going to go see it. She's going with
Tell-
me to Rush. I haven't
Tell
talked to her about
Allie I
Iron
said
Maiden.
hi.
I will.
Yes.
That incredible wife of yours.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
Look at that
it's
smile.
She's
The smile
incredible.
of a happy man. Now,
Yep.
right.
go see Rush, because after that there won't be any other chance. That's the
Okay.
thing.
Right. Yeah. So we know the real dilemma here. How do I also go see Iron Maiden?
Valley Force says something.
Yeah.
Find a paid research study. You can make it work. I told you. Kidneys. You can
Buy my book.
I would say publish a book, but dang.
I've already there. Nobody's buying my book, so.
Same. I just dropped a
Oh.
book for pre-order for the 30th, and I'm just like, come on, somebody buy the damn thing.
Oh,
And,
we have to address this.
I want
to Daryl Brewer.
Thank you. Yeah, Daryl Brewer. Thank you very much.
Awesome. That's great.
Wow.
The winners are Olby of the 14U.
It's quarter.
Quarter. It's missing the slash. Action Popcast, Connie Cleary, Joe's Atmosphere, Andy Masterson, Lord Thoth, and Alex Charlton. Well, we have Kate Rivan Wolf and CJ Prime. Well,
Awesome.
if any of you are in the chat, remember to give your thanks to Daryl Brewer. And
it's
we thank you
Thursday.
too.
Joe's at work, so I can tell you that one right now. Andy Masterson, if you don't know who he is, he makes these awesome custom figures, custom action figures.
Nice.
Cool. Well, look, first of all, again, thank you. Anytime anybody does anything really cool like that, I got to say thank you. And it still just blows my mind that anybody would be watching me talk about anything, really. Real Popcorn Geek. What are your odds on favorite buyer of Warner Brothers or just DC if everything got split up? Look, there's no way Warner will ever really let go of DC. You'd have to be half past stupid to do that, and I don't think that's really ever going to happen. Or it'll probably happen about 5 hours after Sony decides to give Spider-Man back. But
that only happened when Apple buys Sony.
True.
If Apple buys Sony, it goes back to Marvel anyway.
Thank you, Real Weight Nation. Thank you very much.
I try and watch when I'm available.
Hey,
unfortunately, I'm working normally.
Yeah, and I appreciate it every time. As far as my odds on favorite, I gotta say, I don't think anybody's made an argument that has convinced me to not support David Ellison, because he's one of us. Yeah. He is a big nerd. Granted, his dad is really, 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 really wealthy, like number 2 on the planet. But he's one big nerd.
That number 2 distance is rather huge.
It is huge.
It's a couple $100 million or a couple $100 billion.
Yeah, a couple $100 billion. Let's not shortchange the man,
No, a couple $100 billion.
Right? Not like he can't afford it, but still.
I mean, if he wanted to just come along and sort of just buy me out right now, I'm willing to sell.
Right? I mean, if he's adopting or needs an heir, I'm always willing to.
Well, he's already got an heir, but I'm willing to make accommodations. I'm sure I'm sure my dad's willing to sign the papers. But
there is one advantage to Paramount having them.
Okay.
TMNT Batman movie.
Okay, that makes one of us.
Last Ronin?
Yeah, Last Ronin. Well, that's going to happen anyway. But I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if did you read the TMNT Batman crossover?
I haven't read it, but I have read bits and pieces of it.
I'm a big fan of it, so I would like to see it become a movie.
I am
Batman versus the Shredder would be is like a fight for the age.
I mean,
yeah, pretty much. I'm a TMNT fan, but only of the original comic and not anything that has happened since they did the animated series from the 80s.
Okay. Since they gave them all different colored masks.
That's for losers. We can all tell who they are. You don't need to make it different colors.
Yeah, we just know we know what weapon they use.
Exactly. And I mean, well, and the TMNT video game when it first came out, I hated it, but that's because I worked at Aladdin's Castle at the time.
Man, that brings me back. Aladdin's Castle. Anyway, video game. I mean, arcade.
Yeah. Well, I heard the da 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 da. I'm like, it's in my dreams. Stop it.
But as far as I'd have to. My money's on the Ellisons because if David does get a hold of Warner Brothers, he is such a big nerd. I could see him making several demands for certain things that he would like to see, not just out of DC, but out of other things.
Yeah.
And Warner Music, that would be enough to just jumpstart his plan, which is people keep forgetting that David Ellison has said that he wants to restart and redo MTV. You get a hold of Warner Music, you could pretty much make that happen. I don't think it'll be in the way that we were used to it, but it's definitely not going to be what it became in the late 90s.
Yeah.
Okay. I think he wants to take it back and do something kind of. I think he wants to create kind of like a brand with it.
Mm-hmm.
In so much as that he wants to sell merchandise to go with it, but he also wants to bring back music videos, but also a few other things. I think he wants to create something that is very focused on music. That's the thing that I think really killed MTV. It isn't so much that you couldn't have advertising. It's just the fact that it got so far away from music that eventually even having music videos didn't do anything for the channel anymore. And now things have moved so far away from doing that. And again, kids today, especially Gen Z, Gen Alpha even, they don't watch MTV to see what the latest videos are. So you're really aiming at an audience that is kind of
fading.
Not so much fading, but it's older.
Yeah.
And seriously, if you were to bring back MTV and have it focused entirely on music, meaning you could have this one place where you can go to watch music documentaries, like Behind the Music, like what they used to do on VH1.
Mm-hmm.
You do music-related talk shows where you could have on various artists to come on and play, but also talk about what they're doing now. As far as MTV videos and stuff go, you could even do a thing where you can have a now and then type show where you could show classic music videos and then show the current or the last new video from a particular duo or act, and then also update everybody on all the latest goings on, because there are a lot of groups out there, especially 80s groups, that are still out there touring. It's just that there's no single place for you to go to see all of that information. Okay. And as I was saying, go ahead.
Keith, that is nostalgia speaking.
That's all you have left.
Seriously. Current magic,
that is going
music is crap.
That is going to crash and burn. That is a very bad idea. Because
I haven't
going
mentioned
back to
everything.
scheduled TV when people have video on demand. When you have when you have streaming, when you can stream the music, when you can stream the videos on Vivo, YouTube, and everything everywhere.
That's where MTV has the opportunity to become a streaming service.
That's another thing. If you made it a streaming service, that's another thing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh.
Allergies.
Okay. You find my take so bad?
Well, no, it's allergies. I do have those.
You're allergic to my take?
No. But what I can say here is this: it isn't just about just the music videos. It's about having stuff that complements everything else. In other words, you can't run things the way that they had been. Okay,
right.
You have to do those things in a way to at least, first of all, have an audience. Now, you're going to be able to get Gen X to watch it. Okay? They're going to watch for nostalgia. So if you're going to have a particular audience watching, hey, guess what? Why not try to get money out of it? Well, how do you do that? Well, why not let them know that there are new releases from particular artists? Let them also know that a lot of the artists that they like, guess what? They're on tour. And as I was saying from before, there are many acts, I should say, that are out there on tour right now. It's just that a lot of people just don't know. And they don't get the information. For instance, if you happen to be one of those people that, for instance, was into, say, the new romanticism or new romantics of the early 80s. Well, Duran Duran, everybody knows about Duran Duran being out on tour, but not many people knew that ABC was also on tour, or that Spandau Ballet was on tour, or that you have acts like the Fix are back and they're on tour. You have a particular place to be able to relive the nostalgia, but hey, guess what? Here's information where you can catch them when they're out there. The other thing that David Ellison talked about was also becoming a sponsor of many events and putting together the ability for people to be able to have access to MTV in their lives, meaning do certain things like become a part of something like, for instance, and this is just an example. This isn't something that he mentioned, but this is just an idea. What if you could have like an MTV theater in a place like Branson? And it wouldn't be something that would be around 30, 40 years. Remember, this is all focused on something that I think could be around for at least another 10 years, give or take. But I mean, if you launch new products tied into that, more than just t-shirts, hats, various other things, you're doing new documentaries, new shows focused on music. Heck, you could do a show focused on like your favorite guitarist teaching you certain riffs. And again, there's nothing I'm saying that you couldn't do some of this on YouTube. Although, when you listen to Gary, Nerdrotic and others, they're coming for YouTube anyway. You're going to have to do something to keep people engaged with the entirety of what you've got going on. So to have an entire network dedicated to music is really what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about just making it with one thing. It's not just about music videos anymore. You can't do what MTV had originally done and be successful. There's no way you can do that. You can't turn back the hands of time that way and make it work the way that it did. You've got to embrace what is new. The thing is that as technology continues to move forward, certain people aren't really up on how to get all the latest information. There's a lot of us in Gen Z that couldn't tell you what a lot of our groups that we liked, what ones are actually on tour, unless you decide to access their official websites or find them somehow on social media, Instagram, other places. Well, that's a lot of work. You know, the thing about selling anything to anyone is if you could find a way, especially with older people, if you could find a way of just taking all that information and focusing it in one place, then you've got it.
Yeah.
And trust me, there are people that would pay to have that. And again, it's nostalgia along with new information. Okay? If they were to announce tomorrow that the remaining members of Pink Floyd are getting back together, that's big news. Now, to Gen Alpha and Gen Z, that ain't nothing. They're not going to pay attention to that. They want to know why Grandma and Grandpa are so excited.
Right. Well, and here's the thing about a lot of that. MTV is more than just a channel. It was a brand. It was an identity.
Yes.
It was and is, because if I had MTV to do myself, yeah, it would be a streaming service. It would be a music service. But if I had Ellison's money, I would make sure that my artists who were playing on MTV got paid well.
Yes.
Not this, you create that music streaming service, you pay your artists well by play, you create those events, because that's the thing that I think most people do not, I don't know, not most people, but most businesses don't get about fame, is that when you have a star, what people want is access. They want that attention. They want that moment with with their people. So yeah, you get them access to your to your artists. And so you create those events that are the artists sitting in the studio with you playing, just being being who they are. That's that's why I used to listen to Hard Drives, because Lizzie Hale was on was on most night, on some nights, and you could sit there and talk to them, and it's very casual, very cool. You create the kind of experience that your audience is looking for. You give them the music, you make it available for them. Yeah, Sally, I hear you. Some of my favorite bands are indie bands, and they have a hard time making ends meet, just much less a big band like Garbage. But
you have something like MTV, the way that David Ellison has described it. If that were around, Garbage could actually be on that channel a lot. And you could probably get them to do some live performance. Heck, even bring back MTV Unplugged. There are some performances of MTV Unplugged that actually, people went out and actually bought, CDs of some of those performances, and some of those songs, went right up the charts. Like I said, you could just make it about music. That's all I'm saying. That's all I ever said. And that's what I agree with. Again, it's really, you need to buy, you just need to have a place to be able to have, to broadcast out of, and a place for people to come to, the artist to come to. But what you're actually doing is focusing mainly on the music. I mean, Sparks had a documentary a few years back. Sparks, come on. I mean, we're digging deep here. And the thing
Right.
is that everybody's getting older.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
I mean,
and to Sally's comment, music is important to people.
yes,
Music is, House and Jane. So, the just the access to the music, the process, the artists. I mean, but it goes back to being stars don't become stars without access, without people knowing them. And it goes back to one of my primary rules as an author, is make it easy for people to get to know you, to get to like
right. And some people have lost touch with that. Not many people know, not many even, Gen Xers know from their point of view that Hall & Oates had several albums, in the 90s. There are
Right.
a lot of albums after the ones that you saw on MTV. And in fact, I think they put out at least 3 or 4 more albums, not counting solo stuff. So, I mean, you have a lot of stuff out there. And
Right,
it's time. Oh,
well,
yeah, John, it's been
I gotta
nice
go.
having you, big man.
So
Tell
I
Ollie I said hello.
I will, and I will be on Friday at 8:00 Central for my Fallout Tale of Two Wastelands, and hopefully see you all there.
You got it, buddy.
All right, thanks.
Bye, John. Have a nice day.
Bye. You too.
Bye.
You could also turn MTV into a rallying point for Gen X and others because, you could do, MTV at one point was also a place where you could watch different types of programs. I mean, I remember when they started showing the young ones. I remember when, to go from having the young ones to having MTV show Spider-Man, an original Spider-Man animated series.
Right. Well, MTV had the Lex, the Max. I'm sorry, the Max, and the original Aeon Flux.
Yep.
And there's so many of those. But Gambit, I think communication is not quite. It's connection.
Yeah,
that is important to people. We're on the same track, but I think it's not just communication; it is connection.
That's right.
People,
and you got to make it simple.
Yeah,
people just don't. A lot of older people don't know how to get to this information on an individual case-by-case basis. A lot of it just goes right by people, and in today's information age, everything's just coming and going so fast. Well, you got to remember, Gen X aren't used to that. They're used to having a lot of information, but they're also used to a little, compared to nowadays, their information was a little slower in how they took it. You got to spend time with certain things and certain acts, certain, subject matter. And I think if you were to put it all in just one place, that would do a lot for everyone. I mean, think of it. Having convincing, say, even Prince's relatives to have an all-star jam at Prince's studio, Paisley Park,
right,
and doing sort of like a reunion of all of Prince's acts for a kind of massive unplugged concert there at Paisley Park. And
you get to. I think, especially with so many people in the world, so many, 300 some odd million in the US.
Yeah.
And, people are wanting to get all of them. But the thing is you don't need to reach everyone. You can hit a specific niche audience and connect with your people. I think, and say what you will about everything else about Amanda Palmer. But she had a good point when she was talking about the art of asking, is that sometimes it is more important. And this is something like Martin and I were talking about, when you start talking about community, you can make it by connecting with a small and more intimate audience, than and sustain sustain something without having to be a multi-billionaire.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, that speaks to where we are right now. That speaks to the rise of a lot of the podcasters and programs that have been on YouTube and have been successful just in the last 5 to 10 years. There's a reason why everything is headed towards YouTube. It seems like. I think that personally, again, and this is answering another question. That's part of the reason why I like David Ellison. It isn't just because, I think he would probably do well with DC. I don't know. I know he's one of us. I know he's proud to say he's one of us. And I know the difference seems to be is that he's actually worked on a lot of films that I've liked, not everything. And he seems to be really excited to just move things forward. I mean, he's also going to get rid of Alex Kurtzman, which I think is a major plus. But I just think that overall, he's someone that seems to have a plan that more often than not, I'm down with. As far as his plans for Paramount and possible plans for Warner Brothers. There's stuff that I want to see. And if it means allowing his family to take over Warner Brothers so he can get access to Warner Music to make all of this happen, I'm down with it because I know it. I listen to music now and it's all different and cool. There's a lot of it I like, but for the most part, I'm not the audience anymore.
Right.
And I realize that I'm not mad about it. It's just the way things are. So anything that decides to cater to me because, they want my money, I'm down with.
Yeah.
So I don't know what everybody else would like to see as far as who could actually get control of Warner Brothers. But for me, I like the Ellisons and what they brought to the table. And so far, I personally have not seen nor heard from anyone else that seems to have a better plan. Because I'm telling you right now, after the whole James Bond erasing the guns thing from the covers of a lot of their posters, I know one thing, I don't want it to be Amazon. Those guys, they got a lot of money, but
damn, no, I hadn't heard about that. But yeah, and I think Sally brings up a good point here. Can't keep not being able to keep up with all the social media platforms, and I enjoy when life was simpler too. I remember when online, it was AOL. That's how you got online.
Well, we're part of that generation. The transitional generation is really what we were. We were usually the last of or the first of. And as we get older,
both.
Yeah, or both. I am a man of a certain age, and I realize that. I'm not trying to really make everybody bend to my will. I want everybody to have fun and enjoy themselves, but also at the same time, if you want my money and you're willing to cater to me, I'm down with it. And that just seems like what David Ellison's willing to do. And again, I don't see anybody else that's willing to do that. I see variations on the same theme, which is, I want to make things better by letting you see the stuff that I want to do. Right. Well, okay.
Well, and I think though, to Sally's point, it may not be as simple, but it can be simplified in that if we go and look for the things that we want. One of the things that I simply love about this world right now, Amazon makes it so I can be an indie author. I don't have to be published by a big 5 publisher to be out there and have my books out there. My grandson, one of my grandsons, who is up in Maine, he turned me on to a fashion site because he makes jeans. He repurposes, blue jeans and customizes them, what has them, and sells them on Depop, a fashion reselling website, kind of like eBay, but for clothes.
Whoa. So you're a grandpop also.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Two grandpops just talking about the future of entertainment. Can you believe it?
Absolutely. Well, and see, and I got lucky. I skipped the whole 0 to 18 uh uh from the kids. I was kind of there, but didn't become really a part of the lives until like, well, she I guess was like, geez, she was 24 when Randy and I got together, but I've known her since God, but anyways, but yeah, and then then they had kids, and dang. So yeah, I got 4 grandsons and 3, I think it's 3. I'm trying to do the count right here, because it kind of, there are steps. There's a step granddaughter, and then 2 actual granddaughters. So yeah, or 2 blood granddaughters, what have you. So yeah, but yeah, these are things that in the end, I think they are also helping us democratize and basically redistribute the ability for people to to do what they love.
Yeah.
Without having to, because there's a whole bunch of stuff out there, and it's just a matter of finding your community. But the problem is that there are these entities like Disney and such that go, no, all must be us. You must get all your entertainment from us. And we're like going, no, I want my indie groups like Abney Park and Steam Powered Giraffe.
Well, I mean, but let's at least, let me at least reiterate. I mean, re-ask the question to you. Who would you like to see take over Warner Brothers?
Who I don't know the players well enough. I mean, I like what you told me about the Ellisons. I like that idea, but I mean, personally, I would, in general, yeah, I would rather see it be a fan, someone who understands fans, take over.
And that's the big thing. I mean, I'm a little gun shy because I, like many of you, bought into Kevin Feige saying he's a fan, only to realize that I was taking his word for it and that I hadn't really seen him do anything. It's the same thing for Ellison. I like Ellison because he says he's a fan. I've seen some of what he's done, but it's going to take time. All I do know is this. I do agree. Look, there's no way Disney's going to be able to do this. I'm sorry. Disney can't get its hands on Warner Brothers no matter how much they try. If they should somehow try to put forth or somehow make a deal, it's never going to get through the government, because Trump will make sure they don't get anything. So, they're the one. They are the one group that you can almost say guarantee that they would never be able successfully be allowed to have Warner Brothers. So they're out. Netflix. It's hard to go with Netflix because they're not really interested in all the other stuff that's connected to Warner Brothers. They're not interested in broadcast. Heck, they're not even really interested in theatrical, even though they've released a few things theatrically. They are really focused on what they do really well. So that's a lot for them. That's just a lot there for them to really get involved with. I don't see that. Universal? I don't see that. Universal's already set up really well. They've got everything they need. On top of that, it would be a huge conflict of interest because there's only 3 entities now that seem to really control music.
Right.
If Universal bought Warner Brothers, you would then reduce it to two, and one of them would be an outsized, I mean, in all behemoth of music, in so much as that you would combine Universal Music with Warner Music.
Mhm.
Okay, I think the other one's Sony. So the three that you have, if two of them got together, no, the government would instantly say no to that. So it's not going to be Universal. Amazon, again, I have not been impressed with Amazon. Seriously, I don't see how you can have all this money and still be not that bright, in my opinion. And again, seriously, the whole James Bond gun thing, yeah, they did reverse it, but these are still the same people that are they're paying over $1 billion for a television show that is just not good. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, I think the only reason why they're still around is because Kurtzman's version of Star Trek is just slightly worse.
Right.
And yeah, again, I look around, I still think, and again, the Ellisons said it the right way. It wasn't something that they had originally planned. It's just that it became available. And it's rare for something this big like Warner Brothers and this successful, really, with all of the IP and other stuff that they have, to be available. So you're going to take your shot no matter what. The timing may not be the best for them, but I applaud them for taking their shot. So as far as I'm concerned, yeah, I'm going to go with the Ellisons, aka Paramount, taking it on, because I really can't see. Okay, I'm gonna come out and say it. It would suck for Amazon to do to DC what they've already done to Tolkien, what they tried to do to Conan when they had the Conan TV series for like a heartbeat, and all the other really bad decisions that they've made. That would be worse than what many have accused Toby Emmerich for trying to pull with DC, and ultimately destroying the DCEU through his bad decision making. So, Toby. Okay. Yeah, okay. Gary, speaking of NBC, I'm fine with its parent company buying Warner Brothers Discovery. Yeah, if Warner decided to go ahead and split it, then that's a different thing. But I like the idea of the Ellisons, like what they've been trying to say, which is they want the whole thing. They want it all. I don't blame them. I take the whole thing. Take it all. Sally Forth, Amazon could have kept going with The Expanse, the best show ever, but they were stupid. They were stupid, yes, but also they had reached the end. I don't know if you've ever read the books that they're based on, but they reached the natural end of the story. Unlike George R. R. Martin, the author, or in this case, authors of those stories, they have everything written out. My whole thing was you could, and again, Amazon has more than enough money to do this. You could hire the authors to go ahead and outline. Well, okay. Let me at least explain something. By the end, what I mean is this: where the story left off in the show, in the books, you end there, and then the whole story jumps about 1,000 years into the future. So there literally is nothing else that they do with those characters. They literally just stop there and then jump the story 1,000 years. Now, my thing is Amazon could go ahead and hire the authors and say, look, we know that there's a huge jump of about 1,000 years. What that means is you guys can basically do whatever you want with these characters. The ones that we fell in love with on the Expanse television series, the crew of the Resonante. So why not just map out another 5-year story?
Mhm.
I see nothing wrong with that. If you're going to jump the entire story 1,000 years ahead, then let's see what happens in just a 5-year period after the events of the TV show. It's not going to hurt anything.
Right.
So, and again, I like Universal. I can't see them getting a hold of Warner Brothers, but I like Universal. Sony, I don't think Sony can do it. And again, I don't think the government would allow that to go through because Sony Music, Warner Music, they'd have to sell it. They'd have to sell one of those. So, Real Popcorn Geek says, did you see the news about the Energon animated series that's in development, the G.I. Joe Transformers Shared Universe? Yeah, they've been trying to get that working for quite a while. It's great. You know, again, I'm happy for Hasbro because this is something that they've been wanting to do. I'm happy that it looks like Masters of the Universe may actually be a really, really, really good movie. You know, the crew that they have working on that film, some of the people working on that film, especially who they've hired to work and create set designs and costumes, are going to blow a lot of people away. But again, I can't go down that road of having Netflix run Warner Brothers because I'm afraid they would do to DC what they did to Masters of the Universe, and having some former actor who became an executive to basically be in charge of the Masters of the Universe, everything that they did. And he decided he wanted to be political and all that stuff and hired Kevin Smith to basically be the beard to take away from the fact that he was actually in charge and to let Kevin Smith get paid to basically take all the slings and arrows. I didn't like that, you know, and again, anybody that decides to work on something where the company's ability to be able to make a profit is not foremost in their mind, I don't want to deal with that person. I don't think that person should be in charge of anything. You want to make stuff that has a social angle and do stuff to where it's political and all that stuff. There's a place for that, but not high up in the hierarchy of any entertainment organization, because in the end, they're still about making money. And if you're walking around going, well, that's not that important, then I don't need you working on anything I want to watch, because that shows that you're not going to listen to anybody but yourself. And you're no, it never works. It never works. We've had almost 10 to 12 years of watching people who think like that. It does not work. All it does is end up ruining everything. So if you got something to say politically, be smart about it. If you can't do it the way that Rod Serling did it with the Twilight Zone, then don't do it. That's all I can say about that.
Well, I think one of the things that Serling got right was that he was focused on good storytelling.
That's what I'm implying.
But here's the other thing is that so many Twilight Zone episodes were innately, if not overtly, social commentary. Which in and of itself could be considered to be political. Likewise, Star Trek was inherently, idealistically, and thus in a way, political. But
Well, let me clarify something. I'm not saying
Mhm.
you can't be political. What I'm saying is what you just got through saying is the crux of everything about which current writers have no idea, which is how to make it good.
Mhm.
You can be political. People have their own views,
Mhm.
whether it's on politics, religion, whatever. But
Mhm.
here's the thing, you got to make it good. You got to be entertaining. And if you've
Right.
decided that it is more important to be political than to even be entertaining, then you're in
Mhm.
the wrong job. You're
Right.
doing the wrong thing. And what we've seen over the last 10 to 12 years is people that believe that. They believe that their message trumps every single thing that they should be doing, which is creating something that more than one person can enjoy.
Mhm.
You can communicate to as many people as possible, but you got to be entertaining. And you've got to
Yeah.
find a way of communicating to everybody and not just narrow casting to the people that you want to narrow cast to or those that agree with you.
Right.
Star
Well, yeah,
Trek
'cause your
had a
message.
way of being political, yes, but their
Mhm.
whole thing was to try to find a way of getting
To
the
connect.
character. Well, no, getting characters to examine all sides of an issue and never
Mhm.
really trying to and also this is the other thing that gets misrepresented about the original Trek series. They never really came up with anything definitive. What they tried to do was to ask a bunch of questions and to have the characters within that moment either come up
Mhm.
with some sort of a temporary fix, but to always
Mhm.
make it open so that
Mhm.
people would have their own interpretation of what to do. You know, um, that gets misrepresented with a lot of the people who just, in my opinion, can't write
Mhm.
nowadays.
Right.
And it's
Well,
become sort
and
of an open-ended thing to help cover people like Alex Kurtzman or Alex. I've seen to be getting sued a lot for coming up with ideas that other people have already thought of, but never giving them credit. Kurtzman, you know, I,
yeah.
I, I just am done with the people
Mhm.
who are piggybacking off of really people who actually have way more talent than they do right now. You know,
Mhm.
you have shows like Breaking Bad because you get to create something that there is a way that you can interpret everything. Breaking
Mhm.
Bad is one of those shows where it is a it really is about a guy who is becoming a bad guy, but the way that it's presented, you could also
Mhm.
see it as being a guy who circumstances led him to do what he's doing.
Right.
You
And
could you
that's the
could
thing about where Breaking Bad is it proposes a very bad solution to
yeah.
or not a
Well,
very bad solution, but a somewhat less than healthy solution.
it's a less than healthy solution, even though you're also
Mhm.
given, the other side. You're allowed
Mhm.
to see what led him to where he
Mhm.
is, which is a lot
Right.
of really bad decisions, but also
Mhm.
people that were dealt with him in bad faith.
Yeah,
It isn't
exactly.
just about a guy who I want to be evil, ha ha ha. No, it's life. Life took
Yeah.
certain turns with him, and he was forced to go down a particular road. The
Right.
thing was is whether or not a normal, quote unquote, a regular normal person would have made the same decisions given the same circumstances. Would you have walked through that door if that door had been open for you while going down that road? And that's the thing. You know, there are very few people right now that can be as entertaining with something even like that. Making anything nowadays. And again, I'm on Alex Kurtzman's case a lot because a majority of people that are currently writing are more like him than anyone else. There's just way too much of just the dumb getting their way. And they're dumbing down all of entertainment. You know, we can't even have something like, for instance, they're talking about doing Space Above and Beyond. And you get people going, wow, that's way too much like Battlestar Galactica. Okay, first of all, Battlestar Galactica, the new version, is more like Space Above and Beyond. If you're going to do Space Above and Beyond again, you better make sure that you can at least match up to what Battlestar Galactica was able to do. You know, you can't just use the concept again. And that also goes for those people who have the rights to Stargate, which, again, if you're going to do it, you better make sure you're ready for what comes next, because there's a whole fan base out there that is not too sure whether or not you're going to have their best interest at heart. And again, as I said earlier, if you've got people working on stuff like this who don't care about profit, who don't care about the health of the company that they're working for, you shouldn't be hiring those people. You just shouldn't be. All of the best stuff that we've seen have come from people that were at least being kept in line by the fear of disappointing their bosses. Again, if somebody else is signing your checks, you are working for that other person.
Well, and so that's where there is something of a disconnect, because at the end of the day, and this is something similar to what Martin and I were talking about, when you're working for a big company like Amazon, Warner Brothers, things like that, their customer, their audience is not always the people watching.
That's right.
You know, their audience is the shareholders, not the audience, which means you're going to be dealing with, with an agenda that may not be good for the show in and of itself.
It may not be. But then again, that's part of the reason why Disney's not doing as well as it could be. And the shareholders are only making out temporarily. I mean, given a lot of the bad stuff that's happened just in the last 7 years to Disney, this is not good. This is not something that you can continue to get away with. Eventually, it's going to bite you in the backside. You can only blow so much money. You can
and that's the problem, is that after a certain point, if Disney starts to lose money, the shareholders are going to walk away, leaving Disney with a problem, and it's not theirs, even though they're the cause of it.
Yeah, well, but that's been the problem these last few years. You've had people trying to do something, and Iger has such an iron grip on everything. He's basically gotten away with, I wouldn't say he's been lying, but you can definitely tell that the evidence that is there, that has been uncovered, doesn't match with a lot of the stuff that's been coming out of the mouths of certain people that have been pro everything that's been going on. I mean, 20 years ago, really 30 years ago, Kathleen Kennedy would have been fired. Kevin Feige right now would have lost his job because of everything that's happened up to this point. They've reached a halfway point with the Marvel films and the MCU. The very fact that he's been allowed to try to, quote unquote, spend his way out of this is one of the biggest, dumbest things I've ever seen. he's now had as many failures at the box office as he's had successes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Business wise, it's time to cut. It's time to cut ties with Kevin Feige and go. Because he hasn't shown me that he's a creative of any real stripe that can work. Nothing that he has done all by himself has worked.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. All of his best stuff comes as collaborations and or letting really creative, smart, and in many cases fans basically do what they do with minimum to no real oversight or participation by Kevin Feige. Have been all the successful stuff that's happened up to this point. That's what we've learned. And again, this is coming from someone, I used to like Kevin Feige. I did. And I don't know the guy. I can't really hate him personally or anything like that. All I know is that the evidence has shown that now that we've had a sufficient amount of time and a lot of films come out, and we've seen the results of these films, we can either continue to blame the fans, which is what they want you to do, or we could look at the hard evidence and just really just come clean. You know, Kevin Feige is a guy who got very, very lucky and had a lot of people around him in the beginning who actually knew what they were doing. And as of those people left, and he was able to get more power to be able to do the things that he wanted to do, the quality of what was done and the audience's reaction went straight into the toilet.
Yeah. And again, I think that comes from the creators and the people paying the creators being too far removed from their audience.
Yeah, but also allowing creators to have way too much control. And that's really what Bob Iger gave everybody. When it comes to Lucasfilm, when it comes to Pixar, and when it comes to Marvel, that is a part of the formula for how Marvel has been so successful that you will not get with any other studio. Thus, it is next to impossible to actually do what Kevin Feige did. You can't replicate it because no studio is willing to give that kind of power away.
Right.
Every time they have, somebody's done something dumb. Again, Exhibit A, Alex Kurtzman. You know, you get somebody in there that just is a complete bust, but you sign them to a certain number of years guaranteed, and you give them all the power connected to that IP. That's what happened with Alex Kurtzman. He had all the power over Star Trek. He could do anything he wanted. All the Star Trek films had to go through him. And this is the guy who decided to piss off his new bosses when he decided to rush through a movie that he had no business making, i.e., Section 31. But he did it anyway because he felt like it. And then he lied. See, this is the other thing that gets me about all those people out there that love what Kirkman's done. You guys by now do realize he lied to you about Star Trek Legacy. Okay? You guys by now do get that. When asked, is there going to be a Star Trek Legacy? And he answered, well, it's above my pay grade. That was a lie. Because he was in charge of all of Star Trek. He could have done anything he wanted. He made the choice to do Section 31 rather than make Star Trek Legacy. But he got away with lying, you know. Oh no, CBS won't let me. Oh no, I can't make that decision. The powers that be. Oh no. Like, oh, okay.
Help.
But that's again, he got away with lying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and as a Star Trek fan, I find that abhorrent. You know, just tell the truth. Let everybody know, okay, I'm not feeling it. I really, in his case, I would say, I don't understand why what Terry Matalas has done is any different from what I'm doing. I don't get it. My ego can't take it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the reality. That is the reality. Gary and I have heard from people that have even worked on the show that will tell you he's not someone that is that creative. Seriously, he's not. His superpower is the ability to be able to negotiate and get contracts written. He can make deals, and that's it. That was the power of his ability with his former writing partner, Robert Orci. Orci was a talented one. He was also the only one of the two that was a real Star Trek fan.
Mm-hmm.
And what did CBS do? They hired the guy that wasn't a fan.
Which is, yeah.
But they did it for reasons. They needed someone who was like them, who they liked talking to and negotiating with. They didn't do it because it was something that could be very, very, very good for them, very good for the bottom line, help them sell a lot of merchandise, and also help with them building their own streaming service. They didn't think about that, you know, and everything that he did outside of Star Trek during those early years, all of his not spinoff, but all of his own individual quote unquote shows that he had, every single one of them was a failure. Clarice, really? The Man Who Fell to Earth, really? Come on, when's the latest episode of both those coming out? You know, this guy, he's a loser, except he managed to get several hundreds of millions of dollars paid to him by CBS because he went with everything they wanted to do. That he was a kiss ass. Pardon my French. You know?
That doesn't necessarily make him a loser. That just makes him smart in who he decided to kiss the butt.
Well, that makes him smarter than me.
Right?
You know, he sold his soul. And it's worked out very well for him. You know? He was able to make a couple shows, and guess what? He was able to basically do what he wanted to do, make what he wanted to make, and even though it wasn't very good, he was allowed to continue to make that for multiple seasons.
Yeah.
And then he gets to go in front of the cameras and other reporters, look everybody straight in the eye and says, it's all those other Star Trek fans is the problem, and get away with it. And that's the era that we've entered. For all the people who normally 30 years ago would have been fired, they now get to blame everybody who doesn't like what they've done and get away with it. Think about that.
Yeah.
Every movie you've ever not liked, if the person that made that film was able to just go straight to the media and say, all you people who didn't go see my film are the real problem, and then they get they get money to make a sequel.
And truth be told, that's, if you're not appealing to people, that's on you. You don't get to blame someone else for your failure.
But that's the thing. That was before our current situation, and now it doesn't matter. With Netflix, it doesn't matter. You know, their He-Man series wasn't very good, but they get to blame the fans that didn't like it. You know?
Yeah, it's like, but that's your job, is to know what people like.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They now have a scapegoat they can use to get out of anything. You know, if for some reason, you know, you are able to have a book that you put out and nobody buys it, guess what? You now have an out. All you people who didn't like my book, you guys are the problem. And guess what?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you happen to work for a publishing company and they decide to give you a massive contract, and almost every one of the books you decide to write for them do not sell, but you get
Mm-hmm.
the opportunity and the ability to be able to blame the audience and get another massive contract out of the publisher.
Right. Yeah, or you can blame it on something. Oh, it was cancel culture. It was this or that, and it's just like, ugh. And truth be told, and it comes down to people just not knowing how to appeal to their audience.
That's it. But the thing is, though, there's this card you can play that is
Mm-hmm.
a magic. It's like a magic ticket. It's like an automatic golden ticket, and that's
Mm-hmm.
really what people like Alex Kurtzman and Kevin Feige and others have used.
Mm-hmm.
Even though now, in the case of Disney, we are finding the receipts and we realize they've not been telling us the truth for quite a while. They've been allowed to basically burn several millions of dollars making things that people don't want.
Mm-hmm.
And they get away with blaming people who didn't like the product for the fact that the product didn't make very much money.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. It's not so much that people didn't like it. I mean, people look, you're in a business where either people are going to like it or not. That's really what the business is. And it's not about the people that didn't like it. It's the fact that you get to overspend by a large amount
Mm-hmm.
money for your product
Mm-hmm.
and then blame someone else and you get to keep your job. It used to be all about how much money said product or project made. Now it's about the reaction to that and how you, as a creative or someone involved with it, react to that, or how well you can at least blame the fictional people out there or all the haters and stuff. And if you are very convincing, you get more money to do more stuff.
Right.
It's a lot of just not really taking. It's not. Basically, it also is just people just not really taking responsibility for what they're doing. You create something and you put it out there. That's you. That is
Right.
what you've made. If people don't like it, guess what? That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is now, I think the answer to that is going with the variety, because maybe Star Trek isn't what you want, but at the end of the day, you have choices.
Well, it's not so much now. Let me at least say this: it isn't about not what you want. It's about telling people that what they've gotten up to now isn't what
Mm-hmm.
you're doing now. It's that they don't want the version that you're giving them because it
Mm-hmm.
has nothing to do with the stuff that you've actually spent decades giving to them. If you run a chocolate shop and suddenly, if there's a chocolate shop and you get hired as the latest person to run the shop, except now you want to make hot dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Your job then is to get everybody to want the hot dogs. If people still want chocolate,
Mm-hmm.
and you decide, well, it's really all the people who want chocolate's fault, We make
Right.
hot dogs. You
We
don't
make
want
hot dogs now.
we
Yeah.
make hot dogs now. We
Mhm.
don't really do chocolate, but there's too many of you people that are unwilling to take an opportunity to do something different. We make hot dogs now.
Yeah, because then they're going to go to where the chocolate is, because that's what they
That's
came
right.
there for.
There you go.
And
Well,
that's what I'm pointing. That's what I'm pointing out is that you don't. Now people have options. That and which is why Disney and all these companies are finding that people are not going to just buy what they hand them and basically take a pile of crap and call it caviar, because that's what Disney calls it. And they're gonna have to learn that the hard way, that eventually people are going to stop showing up, when they're not offering the chocolate that they showed up for.
Willie the Monkey King. Okay, this is part of a massive conversation. Let's see if I can get back to the beginning of what Willie was saying here.
That's the
Is
one.
that where it starts?
Yep.
Okay. I disagree that it's their job to know what people like. No one knows what the audience likes. To a certain extent. I agree with that up to a point. I mean, if you've taken over a known IP, you know what the audience wants. Okay. If they reject what you do, then they are rejecting what you're doing. They're not trying to be mean. They just don't want to see what you're doing. Kurtzman's gotten away with just blaming the audience for so long, but also he had this massive contract because the people at CBS really liked him. They didn't like the guy who actually created the show because they don't like us.
Yeah.
That's what it. I'm breaking the news here, but that's because I was told a lot of this in confidence. But that's really what it came down to. They didn't like that guy because he's one of us. So they replaced him with someone who isn't one of us. That's what it came down to.
Right. And not knowing what the audience wants, I can't agree completely with that, because the audience will tell you what they want. We will tell you what we want. Or, speaking as a writer, you will tell me what you want. It's a matter of listening, getting out there and listening and talking. That's why they have screenings for audiences. That's why many movies change, is because they show a screening and then they find out, oh, nobody liked that, let's fix that, and whatnot. And it's, that's why writers read reviews, and that's why we go on social media, we listen, if people are smart, they go to podcasts like this, they listen to voices like yours, in that, but the other thing to bear in mind is that there is an audience for literally everything. It's a matter of reaching and finding out where that audience is.
Yeah.
And if you're aiming at mainstream, then you got your work cut out for you. But if you're aiming at whatever story you're wanting to tell, then you've got to reach that audience. You can't, it's just like, what is the Rule 34? Well, there is a corollary, if you make it, there is an audience for it there, and somebody pointed out to me, for instance, I was trying to decide what color I wanted to make a certain flyer back when I was in college. And, the gal at Kinko's was like, look, what's your favorite color? I'm like, green. She's like, well, you can bet that there are probably in this city alone, 7,000 to 10,000 people who also like green. you know. So yeah, you're going to find the people who are going to like the things that you like if you
Yep.
know how to put it out there. So yeah, there is an audience for whatever you want. But to your point, Keith, is that if I am writing, werewolf mage romance, and selling to my audience, and then suddenly I start writing, gun porn, if I somehow suddenly become Larry Correa and start writing about, everything all about guns, and my audience up to now has been, you know, has been expecting and loving, a story about, werewolf wizard romance, then yeah, I'm going to lose that audience.
Yeah, and you agree that it's probably it's something that that you caused
Mhm.
and you deserve to do it. But
Yeah.
that's the thing. You have a
Right.
lot of creatives that now have this golden ticket in a way
Hmm.
where they can use that and get instant sympathy, get media coverage. And there's a certain number of people out there who are willing to do all of these weird gyrations to help explain
Yeah.
why they think you're right when you do it. And you want to
Mhm.
blame the people that don't like what you're doing
Right.
for how things are ending up. And
Yeah.
that is really where we're at within fandom. That explains Star
Yeah.
Trek, Star Wars, and all that stuff. There are always going to be people out there who
Yeah.
want to be a part of what they consider to be the popular crowd or have the popular opinion that
Hmm.
the people who are own the property or whatever, who run everything, have. They will always be sucking up to that, even
Right.
though when you talk to them later on and they let their hair down and they look at everything and they can admit that okay, this may not have been that good or it may not have been something that I really like, and it just comes down to, well, I just feel that you were so mean or you were so, and that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
They
Mhm.
they couldn't take the criticism,
Yeah.
and there are certain fans that couldn't take the criticism of the thing that they were trying to basically sell out to. you know,
Right.
um, that is unfortunate,
Right.
but it's a product of where we're at right now because of technology and the reach of social media and all of that stuff. So
Right. Um, and sometimes we're not ignoring your comments. We're just
no, I actually
we're-
want to get to Sentai. We can go to Sentai's comments. Okay, so let's post those. Let's see.
Beginning which what?
Let's see. Um, Here we go. Sentai. Oh, he was answering James Caserta. Okay.
no, we got you. I was reading. It's like because I keep on seeing it and Power Rangers. And it's like, damn it.
Yeah, talking
Like,
about Robert Orsi. Robert Orsi got done dirty. Okay. Look, let me at least explain something because they've never really come out and said exactly what it
mhm,
was. Robert
mhm,
Orsi had, as near as I can tell, Robert Orsi had a personal issue that resulted in him having some legal entanglements having to do with someone else or several someone else's.
yeah.
And it became physical and I think violent.
Oof.
So Kurtzman separated himself. It's implied that Kurtzman decided to end their partnership because of
Mhm,
that. My argument has always been, hey,
mhm,
sounds like this is something from the way you're making it out is something that he's been suffering, quote unquote, from for a long time, which means you knew this about him. You
You knew
worked
this
with him.
going in. Yeah.
You worked with him. No. These guys grew up together. Okay.
Mhm,
So you knew this about him. You were his writing partner for years. You guys co-wrote a bunch of stuff. Now you've decided to break out on your own and find success. The thing is that for the life of me, personally, I can't understand why you're having any real success, because almost everything you've touched as an individual since you broke your relationship up with Ortsy has basically has not been good. And on top of that, you decided you've made several arguments to the media that make next to no sense. You know, you get dinged legally for borrowing a plot of a movie, and legally to the point where you're not really allowed to discuss the settlement, and it was a huge settlement, but you were able to get away with not having to admit that you had done anything wrong.
Right.
Then you turn around and you decide, yeah, I'm going to make a movie, and oh, Tom Cruise is going to be in it. And it turns out to be one of the few Tom Cruise movies that doesn't do very well. So when you're asked, well, why didn't this movie do very well? You don't want to blame it on Tom Cruise. Well, Tom came in, he wanted to do this, that, and the third. Huh. Well, we talked to the guy who you used to work for, who worked with Tom Cruise, said Tom was great.
Right.
Talked to everybody else, all the other directors and producers and writers that have worked with him on all the projects after he worked with you, and said it was great. So far, the only person that's had any complaints is you.
Right.
And you were supposed to be, and I'm talking about The Mummy. Kurtzman was really the guy who was supposed to be running the Monsterverse for Universal. He was their head guy. He was their head creative. When that movie didn't do very well, it ended all of that.
Yeah.
And he also worked on the 2009 Star Trek, back when he and Orsi were still working together, along with J.J. Abrams and two other guys. So these 5 people were together making they made the first Star Trek movie. And really, J.J. was someone who openly admitted that he never watched Star Trek. He didn't hate it, he just never watched it. He's more of a Star Wars guy. The other 2 producers, one of whom is a writer himself, they were non-committal. I mean, they watched it, but they weren't really. They didn't not like it, but they weren't really big Star Trek fans. And then we have his writing partner, who was the exact opposite of what you want working on a film like that, which is, I know nothing about it. I know absolutely zero about it.
Yeah.
I mean, zero. I'm sorry. The way he scored, because they did this little test to help advertise the movie, he didn't even score. Even those of the 5 of them that got a lot of stuff wrong still scored. He didn't score at all. Like 0.
Yeah.
And this is the guy CBS decided to hire instead of going with the guy who actually created Star Trek Discovery, Brian Fuller. Instead of going with him, they wanted this guy because he knows how to kiss a lot of backside.
Right.
And
so I want to, So I just want to address Sentai Ranger Donnie's latest Mummy movie. Somewhat disappointing despite a few aspects. The last Mummy movie was an incredible disappointment to me, mostly because Brendan Fraser was not in it. That right there, I'm going, no.
I think he's talking about the Tom Cruise Mummy movie.
Yes, I know. And it's that is exactly why it was an incredible disappointment to me.
And Alex Kurtzman will tell you that even though he wrote it, and even though he directed, even though he was responsible because he was the overall boss of the whole thing, it's Tom Cruise's fault.
No, it was your casting director. It was your fault for not getting, Brendan Fraser in it. I mean, that man.
No. He would push back. It was Tom Cruise's fault because Tom
Yeah,
has to be in charge. And my whole response to that is, he pretty much acts the same way in every movie he's on.
right.
So what makes your film different?
Right. Yeah. What makes you feel? Oh, yeah. You cast Tom Cruise. Well, there's your problem. I mean,
Tom's known nothing. Tom had success before the Mummy movie, and guess what? He had success after the Mummy movie. So let's all try to put our brains together and figure out what was different about that Mummy movie outside of Tom Cruise.
right. Well, first of all, and that's the thing is, and again, it comes back to something we mentioned earlier, is once you have established your audience, I mean, and I know this from personal history, you don't always control who your audience is. The Mummy movie, the ones with Brendan Fraser, you know, were meant to be an action comedy, but the audience it pulled in, was very different. I wrote I wrote my Demon's Apprentice series with the intent of it, being an action appeal. Most of my fans are women. And I'm going, I don't know how I did this. I don't know how I can maintain it, but I'm gonna, and
I know some of those women that are fans of yours.
Yeah, you're related.
You have a dedicated fan base, man. Don't ever apologize for it. I say use that. Ride that horse till
right.
it's
Well, that's. I mean, no. I mean, the book I'm just releasing specific. It's also my first female main character, and it is specific to that audience. But yeah, and where they failed with The Mummy was they tried to make it a Tom Cruise movie, and you're not going to get Tom Cruise fans and Mummy fans in the same theater.
Yeah. Well, you could have if the movie had been better, if it had actually had a script that was worth everybody's time and had been directed by somebody that actually knew what the blank they were doing. Again, I'd happily throw Alex Kurtzman under the bus because he hasn't earned anything.
Oh yeah, no, I would strap him to the underside of that bus.
Yeah, he is, in my opinion, he is just someone who cannot take any responsibility for anything. This is how according to someone who I know that had he worked for, this is the way he's always been.
Yeah.
And so he's someone who I heard that has a certain way of working, and he's just he's a bit much, at least back then, and I can only think he's gotten worse since then.
Yeah,
and his writing partner did go on to stay with the Star Trek films, and had wrote the third Star Trek movie, to which, now that we understand exactly what his contract is and what CBS actually did in signing him to the contract, it's looking more and more and more like he got his old partner Roberto Orci fired from that movie.
Yeah,
because he was let go because the script he wrote was too Star Trek-y for them. That was the excuse given.
like,
so
that's what you're. Yeah,
he got replaced. They replaced him with a different director, and then had a different group of writers come up with a brand new script to make what eventually became Star Trek Beyond.
Yeah,
and as a Star Trek fan, remember that's now two fans that they've done this to. Two people who were self-admitted Star Trek fans, lifelong Star Trek fans. and both of them amazingly lost their jobs, and both of them connected to Alex Kurtzman,
Mm-hmm.
a guy who never liked Star Trek.
Yeah.
But CBS decided to make him their official Star Trek guru because they needed their own Kevin Feige to run Star Trek.
Right. And yeah.
But
And Peter Venkman site, I don't know if that's in relation to what I was talking about with my books or something different. I'm assuming it's about me, but that's my ego.
Not everything is about you. The world doesn't revolve around you. Well, maybe a little.
My world does, but
I just think that
Mhm.
I think we need to get back to an understanding that of
Mhm.
running things like a business. I know that's a radical thought,
Right.
but people will only pay for the things that they want, and they would
Mhm.
continue to give more money to the things that they enjoy.
Right.
What has been proven since 2017
Mhm.
is that Alex Kurtzman doesn't know what fans want.
True.
And
sometimes not knowing what fans want, can. Well, in Kurtzman's case, it's trying to give fans of a certain thing something that they don't want. But to Peter Venkman's fan site, sometimes not realizing that you have an audience built in can be a blessing. But when you're trying to take Trek and turn it into something else, yeah, you're serving hot dogs at a chocolate shop, which is now my new you don't get it.
Wait.
Yeah, analogy.
What?
Yeah.
What if the buns are sweet and the sausage is made of chocolate and the sauce is made of
Then it's still a chocolate shop, and you're not really selling hot dogs. You're selling specially,
Yeah.
sculptured chocolate.
Yes.
You know,
It is, all of this has been made way more confusing than it should be.
yeah.
Okay. If we just go back to, hey, you're going to spend X amount of dollars to create
Mhm.
this thing, and you need to not only make back the initial investment, but you also need to show a profit.
Yeah.
To me, that is the simplest way to do all this stuff. And if we basically judge what has happened by that, as I
Mhm.
said in the beginning, Kathleen Kennedy should not have a job right now. Kevin Feige technically shouldn't have a job right now. Alex Kurtzman and Akiva Goldsman shouldn't have jobs right now. That's just, again, that's not putting anything personal in any, because I don't know any of these people. I'm just saying, by
Mhm.
the strict rules of business, that's the way things would have been at least 30 years ago if all of these people were trying to do what they're doing now back then.
Right. In a better world, this is the way it would be.
Yes. But now we're dealing with people who, for whatever reason, they don't have to deal with the fallout from having spent in multiple cases more money than what they were originally saying that they were budgeted to have.
Mhm.
Okay, I mean, I'm serious. If I'm working for somebody and let's say I cost them $5,000, that's not good.
Right.
If I'm working for that same somebody and I cost them $5 million, I'm not just fired.
Mhm.
But
Right.
they're going to make my life very interesting from that point on. What we're talking about is, in the case of Alex Kurtzman, in the case of Akiva Goldsman, in the case of Kevin Feige, in the case of Kathleen Kennedy and all of her friends that are currently running Lucasfilm, all of them collectively have cost their companies billions.
Right.
And they get to keep working. And on top of that, when it is pointed out business-wise that things aren't going so well, ultimately, when it comes down to what they think went wrong, it is a variation of the fans out there just don't get my genius.
Okay, no, you have now hit on my pet peeve.
That's pretty much what it is.
Oh
That's all,
God,
it is that.
Yeah,
They don't
as
get
a
my
writer.
genius.
Oh yeah, no, as a writer, oh my God, that is the pinnacle of I don't know how to write, or I'm a bad writer. Is it's the fans who, I'm just too good for them.
Yeah, well,
It's a
that
huge excuse.
explains The Last Jedi in a nutshell. That's the only reason why you would write something like The Last Jedi. Fans don't get my genius.
Yeah,
well, wait a
no.
minute. This doesn't match the last movie. No, you don't understand. The fans don't get my genius.
And that's because you cannot write your way. Oh, you cannot write your way out of a Mad Libs book. Come on.
Yeah. And again, it's been pointed out many a time. Hey, guess what? That movie made money. It made $1 billion. Yes, but it didn't make the amount of money that the studio, i.e., Disney, said that if they had done it again the right way, it should have made more money than the last movie they put out.
Yeah, they left hundreds of millions of dollars on the table.
And then some.
Yeah. Daryl, take it easy, man. I see you
Daryl
there.
Brewer, everybody.
Hi, Daryl.
But that's been my whole thing with a lot of people during this period. And again, I don't have any hate for them. I mean, I've said this before. I know Gary doesn't like it when I say it, but Ghostbusters 2016, I like the director. I think he should have gone with what he had originally had planned for that film, rather than, although Amy Pascal, here's something to make you hate even more. Amy Pascal, who was running Sony, was the one that made the decision to do something that a lot of fans of a certain property will never forgive her for. Amy Pascal was presented the opportunity to greenlight a Ghostbusters movie that would have reunited all of the original Ghostbusters. All of them. All of them. Before a certain actor died. All of them. And all it needed was her green light. She said no because she thought it was time to go with an all-female Ghostbusters movie.
Right. And and if they had a script that even approached oh God, what was it? The one after the 2016.
Oh, no. No, they weren't doing that. This was a script written more like the first movie.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if they had a script of that same quality, I should rephrase that. If they had a script of the same quality, or the first movie, not the second movie, but yeah, I mean, if they had a script that was that good, yeah, why did she not?
Now, here's the other thing you need to know about Amy Pascal, who eventually ended up losing her job. Don't worry, she landed on her feet, everybody. Not only on her way out of her job did she get herself signed permanently as a producer to all of the Spider-Man movies that have been made with Tom Holland. But now she currently works for Amazon, heading up the James Bond franchise. Thank you, everybody. There you go.
All right.
She's making decisions for Bond.
Yeah. Sally, glad you were here today. But yeah,
Yes,
and
bye, Sally. And thank you
Bye,
very much for your
Sally.
kind
Nice
words.
having you here, and please join us again, please.
absolutely.
Again, this is not so much that I'm trying to be mean to the lady because I don't know
Mhm.
her. Although I've always thought she's a little on the weird side. But
Dude, you hang out with me.
again, I always thought she was a little on the weird side. Trust me. Google Amy Pascal
Mhm.
and Google there's a picture of her with Tom Holland
Mhm.
for one of the Spider-Man. I think it was the first one that they did. It was the first Spider-Man film that they made for the MCU. And the
Mhm.
look on Tom Holland's face as she's like all over him is it's like a hostage video. How can you stand there trying to smile to advertise a movie in front of all this paparazzi, yet at the same time in your eyes scream,
Mhm.
help me, please help me.
Right. Well, I mean, I look at you, just looking at it. I try not to judge, people solely by their looks, but just looking at it, she smiles like Kay from Men in Black. you know,
Yeah.
smiles like this.
But again, I don't know her. All I know is that she helped come up with a lot of the little plans and stuff that they have been trying to follow for all the Spider-Man movies up to this point. And she just oh my goodness. But she's now in charge of James Bond, everybody.
Yeah.
Yay. I trust David Heyman is the other person who's in charge of Bond.
Mhm.
I trust him because his track record is way better. I don't trust her because I think she's crazy. I just don't trust her. I don't.
Mhm.
And I think she's the lead on all of this. I think David Heyman's there to get whatever project made because he has that type of experience.
Mhm.
But I think she's there to be she's there to mess everything up in a way only she can. And James Bond's gonna suffer for this. So, and that's who Amazon chose. So she also threw that sandwich at Kevin Feige. So hey.
Hey.
I'm just saying this is who they chose. And you wonder why I don't see Amazon getting away with trying to buy Warner Brothers and running it successfully.
No, I need Amazon to focus on what they do because that's where my livelihood
I'm
lives.
going to need you to not lose any focus.
Yeah,
In fact, I'm going to need you to figure out a way of just legally being able to pull out of what you're doing right now with Lord of the Rings. Stop the bleeding now. Just stop it. I mean, nobody has a gun to your head saying you have to spend $1 billion on one of the worst television shows ever. But,
right.
Again, we are living at a time where someone can make a TV show that is considered one of the worst TV shows of all time to ever be on broadcast television. Batwoman. That was a show so bad, even its lead actress eventually had to leave the show and got replaced by an actress who was even worse than she was. But you know what? As much as I may clown Batwoman, when Star Trek Discovery made it on the CBS television network and got shown, Batwoman beat it out in the ratings every time. Thanks, Alex Kurtzman. Oh, I can't stop beating that dead horse because it keeps moving every single time I hit it.
Right.
It's just that's CBS, everybody. The former executives who I think really could use a come to Zasloff moment
Right.
after now that David Ellison and his dad are in charge. I really do believe that Mr. Ellison could make a lot of money if he would just put it on pay-per-view, as he gets rid of all the CBS executives who thought that Alex Kurtzman was a good idea.
Right.
That would see, to me, that would be it. The only thing that would beat that would be a pay-per-view event as the board basically grows a pair and decides to get rid of Bob Iger at Disney. But that's never going to happen because they're all people that he's friends with. He made sure to stack that board with all his friends. Never mind that it's slightly illegal.
Right.
But,
or job insecurity. But yeah.
Although I reject the notion that Power Rangers is a dead brand, one thing is for sure: we will always have Super Sentai. There you go. Keep hope alive. Look, I will continue to make fun of Disney for not really realizing that they have the rights to Buffy and had to have someone else from outside of what they were doing come to them to pitch a new Buffy show.
And yeah. I mean, so, and there are times when the entertainment industry becomes so depressing. It's a good thing that James, I get the irony there. And it's a good thing that this, that we aren't doing this tomorrow, because you would have lost me 2 hours ago. Because one of my favorite bad games, or good games as you do it, is coming out early tomorrow, Outer Worlds 2. And I'm just like, I am ready to stick it to the to corporate overlords, even if it's just imaginary, in my imagination.
But you know what? I think we all deep down want to stick it to our corporate overlords. Unfortunately,
right?
They own too much of what we like.
I know.
It's pick your poison. And
right. And I think that's something that that Martin and I were talking about earlier, is we sacrifice, we've been taught to sacrifice quality for convenience, whatever's easy.
Yeah. It's sad, really, because there are people out there who are talented, and for whatever reason, a lot of those people either will never be hired, or a lot of these people are people who had jobs and had done quality things, and for whatever reason will probably never be hired again.
Right.
Or worse, that
Right.
a whole bunch of people with absolutely no talent will continue to be offered and given things because they're not one of us.
And again, that's why I am all about, independent creators, because when independent creators are doing their own thing, you get people whose passion is the product, is the IP, I should say, the story. You get people whose passion is making something good, and who want to connect to their fans. So, like when you're talking about Trek and Star Wars, they have, and I've really left a lot of those in the dust. And that's why, I will look for independent music, independent writers, independent films, that kind of thing, because they are not beholden to, to a lot of the same forces that Trek and Star Wars are beholden to. There's not a bunch of idiots making that decision. There are artists making those decisions.
You know what? It makes me think of, there was a It's another show that I like to watch occasionally, and most recently, it's called Thinking Critical.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out the host of that's actually from the great state of Missouri.
Hmm.
And their
Yay!
their latest episode talks about how the late great Jim Shooter kind of predicted everything that's happened in comics. He has a book that he wrote.
When did he predict it?
This was way back in the 90s. The book that supposedly, I think it never got published, but they have it now. I hope they do publish it, because based on everything that was said during that show, it looked like he pretty much foresaw everything. Corporations, basically, I mean, almost the point by point downward slide of everything that has happened. And again, Jim Shooter was right. Marvel's a complete joke the way that he put it. It's just the moment you had corporate raiders take over Marvel and do everything that they've been doing, he predicted everything that happened thereafter. So,
Well, you know, another bit of entertainment predicted the future too. It's called the movie PCU.
yep.
Yeah.
It predicted the woke movement. They're walking across the quads of the campus, and every single person who's a problem today was on the quad there, and they were pointing each one of them out, looking at each one individually. And I'm like, oh my God, that movie really predicted what we're going through right now.
Well, and a lot of it was still there at the time.
Well, sure, we always dealt with them. They were just this odd, small number of fucking weirdos. And, you know, and I used to tell people, Keith, I think we even talked about this on the show when we first started it.
Yeah.
That we had those kinds of kids in school. And we dealt with them the way you're supposed to. We ostracized them. We didn't talk to them. We'd ignore them. Like, shut up, dude. You know, you always got to bring the party down, man, being an asshole. And, but the thing is, the internet, social media, gave the worst fucking people on the planet a platform.
Oh, jeez.
And you only see one person, but then you get a whole bunch of fucking trolls with them. And all of a sudden, there's a group of them, you know. But anyway, hey, I only dropped in because, Martin, I don't know if you noticed over the last 24 hours that YouTube changed our name.
Yes, I noticed.
And it was supposed to do that because I did it the first time because Keith, I'm sorry, but you don't comment through the channel. And I got frustrated that everybody goes, well, it's either Keith or Gary. I'm like, it's always Gary. It has never been Keith. It's only me. Well, it might be Keith. No, it'll say Movie Geek, which is why I asked you if you might put, you know, PCM somewhere in your thing so people know that you're with the channel.
Yeah, I can do that.
It really fucking annoyed me that every time I go into a chat for one of our friends' streams, they're like, hey, Keith and Gary, Keith, Gary. I'm like, it's always Gary. Keith has never, ever, at any point posted through this channel. Jesus fucking Christ. How many times do I got to say that to you when I drop in your chat? So I decided I'm going to put, and you can look in the chat right now, PCM with Gary. So that, because, and they said that I could do that without changing anything with our channel. Bullshit. I did it last week. Last weekend, actually, is when I did it. And then sometime in the last 48 hours, it changed the name of our channel. So if you go to our channel, it says PCM with Gary. I'm like, no. So I put it, I changed it back to PCM with Gary and Keith, and it's going to take up to 4 days. I'm like, go fuck yourself, YouTube. You did this. You did this.
So for 4 glorious days, people are going to know it's you when you're commenting.
I just want people to stop like going, who is it? It's
Yeah.
I'm the only person ever on our channel that comments with our fucking through our channel.
Right.
Anyway, I'm just very fucking annoyed right now, and I wanted to come on and share my annoyance with you guys. Also, Andy Morrow, you son of a bitch. Thanks, man. Gary Squatch.
Gary Squatch,
my-
right?
I am my own form of Sasquatch.
You're your own cryptid.
Yeah, because like it started a long time ago. There was a photograph of me lumbering with my long hair, and I had a beard and facial hair that wasn't gray yet. And somebody joked, "Man, you look like Sasquatch." And as
I remember those days.
Just some fucking long-haired fucking Bigfoot wandering through the room. But it got brought up yesterday that as tall as I am, that you're taller, Keith. And I said, yeah. And I said, Keith tried to pull some bullshit, saying, no, I'm 6'2", says so on my license. And Travis and I measured you. We had him stand against the fucking wall, got a tape measure. We measured him. He's 6'4". I'm 6'3", because I'm like, I look up at you slightly. I recognize when I look up at people, and I like having to look up at people because I'm usually looking at the tops of people's heads, and it just get tickled to death when I'm not the tallest person in the room. So, but anyway.
And I'm the guy over here that's like 5'9", going, I still look down my nose at you.
I still do. I'm so used to being taller than everybody in the room. Yeah. And so anyway, I thought you were going to pull your license. I was going to tell you, don't do that. don't show that on camera. But according to his license, he says, I'm 6'2", and I said, your license has been lied to.
According to my license, I'm 215 pounds, but
so
it fucking lies.
Anyway, I'm sorry I interrupted. I just wanted to bitch.
Oh no,
I'm so
no.
It's like I cannot go a week without being pissed at them over something.
Right?
It's
I have
all
to
good
deal with them all the time, and they annoy the shit out of me. Like I still have to go in there because John plays that fucking game. What the fuck's it called?
Fallout.
I don't know. There's a lot of them.
Fallout. It's
Fallout.
Yeah. He's been playing Fallout for over a year. It's like, and he's still playing, and it's like this game will never fucking end. And so he did one episode of the show, and I can just hardly wait till all of his shows get, fucking claimed, because one of them got claimed for the songs that are in the fucking game. And it seems to me if someone's playing the game, that there should just be an automatic, don't fucking claim those songs because it's in the game. But no, not YouTube. No, YouTube do the smart thing and have a uniform blanket for that fucking game, any music in it, not to claim it. No, not YouTube.
Dude, the thing, it is so bad that there are games that have streamer mode in which you apply that switch and there is no music because there is this platform isn't aware of that video games as music,
right?
So you have to take it all.
That's first of all, take it all. Come on, man.
That's part of the appeal.
That's right. That's right. You don't know me. Take it all, said the mouse to the elephant.
Yes. Why do you think I'm using an avatar?
There's an actual joke to that because the mouse made a deal with the elephant that it would remove the splinter from its foot if the elephant would let him fuck it. And so the elephant goes, okay, I'll let you do it. So he climbs up on this big ladder up to its ass and it starts banging away on it. And when he does, the elephant accidentally steps on the splinter, and it makes him, rear up a little bit with his trunk and lets out that wail. And the mouse goes, "That's right, bitch, take it all." That's an old joke. That's like from when my dad was a kid kind of joke. Hi, Cynthia. What's up, man? Sentai, Gambit. All right, guys. All right, I'm gonna fuck off now. You guys finish your show. I just
All
wanted to
right.
bitch. I just wanted to bitch. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, boss.
3 buttons to leave again. Oh my god.
Press. You
I'm
don't know how
not
to use
doing
the
this.
3 seashells?
No, I'm not doing this again. I'm just gonna fucking close the browser. So I'm gonna make
There
a
you
weird
go.
face and I'll freeze up.
I can still see your eyes moving.
Oh my god, the king of bitching.
Right.
Oh. Wow. Well,
Keith?
good show, everybody.
Yeah.
Um
I think we could wrap it up. We have to our 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we can. First of all, just again, let me just say thank you, everybody who joined us today. It's always great to have an audience, especially ones, many of you out there who continue to show up again and again and again. Let me also thank Sentai Ranger Donnie, because he's cool like that. I'd also like to thank Sally Forth, the Peter Venkman fan site, Penny, Anima. I'd also like to thank, of course, the boss man who just was here, Gary, because he's cool like that. And let's see, Gambit 1987, who was actually the first here. I should just call him the first.
Then Buffy's going to show up.
Gambit the first. You should change your name, Gambit, but Gambit the first.
Gambit, first of his name, 1987. I had fun doing this topic today, but wow.
This topic meaning we had no time to prep. No, I'm kidding. But
to be honest, a lot of things going on, and today especially is my grandson's birthday.
Awesome.
So he's turning the big 1 today, and I think we just celebrated 2 days ago. We just celebrated the anniversary of the publication of the first appearance of Wonder Woman and the Penguin, both of which who premiered in 1941, and of the character of John Stewart in the pages of Green Lantern in 1970. I'd tell you what that meant, with Marvel characters, but I'm not really reading them right now, so I'm kidding. But I'd also really like to thank Ben for being such a good sport and having fun today with me, and Martin, because Martin's cool like that. Let me also thank Daryl Brewer, because you are a madman, and Real Wade Gaming or Real Wade Nation Gaming, because you are just too much fun. Thank you. Read by Nature, also, thank you. And who else? Real Popcorn Geek, because Real Popcorn Geek, well, there's no geek like Real Popcorn Geek, except no substitutes.
Not except fake popcorn geeks.
And of course, Ariel Ballet, because Yeah. Thank you.
That
Thank
is
you,
a
James.
nice reference to Dune.
Yes. But good show. Glad everybody had a good time. We might do this next month. Who knows? Well, I mean, look, the other reason why I did this is every time people run into me, they always want to know what I think about this or what I think about that. So this is my attempt to actually kind of do that. You know, I do like answering questions. It's just, this is my way of doing it, but also with Ben and with Martin. You know, of course, Martin didn't answer any questions because that's not his job while he's here. So
Keep the mystery alive.
there you go. There you go. And that's one of the things they tell you. You know, when you become a dad, especially when you become a granddad, keep the mystery alive. But I've had a really, really, really good time today. I really enjoy doing this. I really enjoy doing this show. And I just want to say that every time when I'm allowed to do this, I just, again, I'm just blown away that anybody would want to just watch and or listen to anything that I have to say. So I really, really, really appreciate this. So that's all I have to say. So thank you, and have a better Thursday.
Leading into a good Friday. Well, a better Friday, because Good Friday's a holiday.
Well, see you later.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
Matt Damon.